So if you've been, keeping up with the Wizife Daily thing that I'm doing, where every day actually let me rephrase the daily part. It's not usually every day, it should be, but I skip a couple days every so often, or every week, or every couple days. Whatever. The point is, if you've been reading those and keeping up with those, in it you probably heard me say about this book that I'm reading, about the end of America. And it's about the, end times prophecy stuff that we read about in the Bible and Revelation and different books, and Old Testament books even in the Bible. And it's very interesting because it talks about how, the author thinks that his interpretation is that America is Babylon the Great, that talks about in Revelation, or the daughter of Babylon that talks about in some of the Old Testament prophet, the minor prophets or major prophets like Jeremiah, I think talks about it, the daughter of Babylon, some and stuff like that. But it talks about the daughter of Babylon and Babylon the Great, and he says that is actually America. And so in this episode here, I'm going to tell you a little bit what I learned from this book, and we'll see how it would look like if he's interpreting it correctly, what's going to happen. It's a little bit scary, but we'll see in just a little bit.
Sweet! We're watching the Wizife show.
Okay, actually this morning I was actually reading Revelation 17, which talks about Babylon the Great and how Babylon the Great is it's a harlot, what has the kings of the earth have indulged in her idolatry, or not her idolatry, in her immorality. That's what I was looking for. And how it shows her as a harlot that's sitting on top of a beast that has 7 heads and 10 horns or something like that. Revelation stuff is a mystery, and it's kind of interesting to read sometimes, but sometimes you just don't get nothing out of it. The point is, this guy says that Babylon the Great is America, and according to Revelation 17, as I was reading this morning, it could actually make sense that it is America. Like it says, it's by many waters. America's by many waters. It also says that the kings, as I just mentioned, the kings are drunk. That's why he uses the word drunk on her immorality, which Hollywood, all the immorality in movies, drunk in her immorality. That would make sense. What else did it say in there that I thought? It said it's of many peoples and nations, and multitudes of peoples and languages and nations are all together, like a melting pot thing. And America is that. Everybody immigrates to America. It's loaded with all kinds of different people. What else did it say that was kind of striking? And then it said that it's sitting on the beast on the 7 heads, and the 7 heads of the beast could be, he says, this guy interprets in this book that I'm reading, The End of America, he interprets that as being Islam. And the 7 heads there would be 7 mountains, that would be 7 countries or whatever that are Islamic countries. And how the U.S. is in a whole bunch of them, and kind of trying to take control, or out like Afghanistan or Iran and Iraq and different places like that where U.S. is located, and trying to change them a little bit or something. And it says, in the end of the chapter, it says that the beast will end up showing Babylon the Great's nakedness and destroying it, or something like that. And I was just thinking, if that's true, and also there's another verse somewhere that talks about how the people at sea looked at it and said, oh, what a great nation, or something like that, and to where it was gone in 1 hour. It was destroyed in 1 hour. So if that's the case, then it means America's going to be destroyed in 1 hour's time. Sounds a little bit scary if you ask me. And so I was just thinking about it. What if that would be true? This guy would say that that America will be destroyed with probably by nuclear bombs. And that, Islam, they want to kill Americans, they want to destroy America, they hate America. And so they could just go in sometime, they're going to make it into America and have like a scheduled bomb thing going on, nuclear weapons going off at a certain time. It would probably not destroy everybody, but it would destroy America, because if they would take out the main cities and where all the oil is from and all of that stuff, then means we would have no oil. That means we would have no electricity. That means we would have nothing. And so it would be pretty much, if you ever watched the movie The Book of Eli, it would probably be a lot like that, where everybody's going to be killing each other for food. And I was just thinking about, what if America would pass away? Would I be all right with that? And the main thing that I learned from this book, even if the prophecies might not be true, but they could be true, but even if they aren't, then it changed my mindset on how to live. I mean, think about it. If America's going to be gone in a couple of years, if I have that mindset where it could be gone in 10 years, then what does it really matter what I have? What does it really matter what kind of car I drove? What does it really matter? Whatever. Does it really matter? And I realized, that's the outlook that God kind of wants us to have. I forget where it says in the Bible where it is, but it says somewhere, it says that we need to even hate life itself if we're a follower of Jesus. Pretty much what it was trying to say is that life here on earth doesn't really matter, because we're heavenly creatures. As soon as we become born again, we become heavenly creatures. And it's just kind of struck me, that's so true. What am I focusing on in life? Am I focusing on the things that matter? See, if America's going to be passed away, that means no more, all the websites that are based out of America will be destroyed because the servers will have crashed. There will be no internet because there will be no electricity. And gas would be gone. People, if I think about that, my website would probably be gone. I have to work on that, by the way. Hopefully I can preserve it if it actually does happen the way that this guy thinks it's going to happen, according to Revelation, which it might be. So the big point is, it's good for us to sit down and think about life as far as, what's it about? I mean, are we focusing on the right things? If America's gone, if all Hollywood is destroyed, if all that stuff is destroyed, then are we going to be all right with it? Are we going to be able to be all right with it? We should be, because we're heavenly creatures. We're not creatures on earth. Eternity is where it matters. We're eternal creatures now when we're born again. And that's what matters. So we need to focus on that, and we got to get rid of our love for the world. We got to get rid of our love for America to the point where, yeah, I'll root for America and stuff because I'm American, but to the point where it doesn't consume us. A lot of times it consumes everybody because they're so in love with their life that they forget the love of Jesus. Does that make sense? Anyway, I hope you got something from this episode. I'm just kind of rambling. The point is, we got to live in the moment, live for what matters, and Jesus is what matters in every single moment. God is all that matters. Whatever happens to America, if it gets destroyed the way that this guy says it does, are you going to be all right with it? Think about it. In your comment section below, put your thoughts down. All right, what do you think? Do you think America will be destroyed? Answer the question. Do you think America will be destroyed according to what it says in Revelation? If it is Babylon the Great. Do you think it is Babylon the Great? Comment section below.
3, go. Okay guys, it's WizEye goal number 54. That is to live for eternity. Because that's what matters. This stuff all that we have in this life doesn't really matter that much. And the verse I have that goes along with it is John 12:25. He who loves his life loses it, and he who hates his life in this world will keep it to life eternal. See, if America does get destroyed, it doesn't matter what you own or what you have or anything like that. The only thing that matters is Jesus and living for Him. So, go live for eternity.
2, 3, go. This is the part that you've been waiting for. It's a biblical joke of the week or the Whiz Life joke of the week, whichever you prefer. And it's probably going to be lame, a little bit of funny, as I always say.
Okay, here's how the joke goes, guys. The temporary Sunday school teacher was struggling to open a combination lock on the supply cabinet. She had been told the combination, but couldn't quite remember it. Finally, she went to the pastor's study and asked for help. The pastor came into the room and began to turn the dial. After the first 2 numbers, he paused and stared blankly for a moment. And finally, he looked serenely heavenward, and his lips moved silently. Then he looked back at the lock and quickly turned to the final number and opened the lock. The teacher was amazed. "I'm in awe of your faith, Pastor," she said. "It's really nothing," he answered. "The number is on a piece of tape on the ceiling."
I need you to submit your biblical joke so that I can have it on the show. Now, how to do that? Well, you can either go to wizlife.com and contact me, or you can go to YouTube and create a video response.
This has been the Whiz Life Show. Hopefully I've touched your heart a little bit and made you rethink your life a little bit to where you realize that God is all that matters. And it doesn't matter if America gets destroyed or not. God will still be there, and we are eternal creatures. And that was my mom that just walked in, so just ignore that. And she has this look on her face that's quite hilarious. The point is, I hope you enjoyed this episode. My name is Justin Miller, as always. I'm out.
We'll share heaven for all eternity. We'll share heaven for all eternity.